there's a picture of them kissing. I did not think I was gonna cry in this. Like, what the fuck? I thought I was done crying about this. Okay, we're not crying, not crying, not crying. Obviously, you've seen the title. You know that I got cheated on and I'm talking about that. But before I get into that, I'm dyeing it purple. This is the color. Looks a little off on camera. I'm using Arctic Fox, some mix of Girls Night and Purple Rain. Before I get into like the actual story, I feel like I should put a, I don't know if disclaimer is the right word, but we're gonna call it that. First of all, this happened over 2 months ago for the most part, and the reason why I have waited until now to talk about it is because I had to wait to get my stuff back, which like from his place, which actually I didn't even interact with him to get that. I was interacting with his parents for that, which by the way, his parents were so like nice about the whole thing and like helpful in making sure I got my stuff back. So like that was really cool of them, and it could have been, oh god, I already got purple in my neck. It could have been a very awkward situation and it wasn't. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I had like all of like loose ends with the situation dealt with before talking about it on the freaking internet. So like this is just for entertainment. I don't like, yeah, I'm not happy with the situation, but like for the most part I'm over it, and like I don't need like to have any retaliation over the fact that he cheated. I don't like need revenge or anything. Like I doubt anyone would do this because this is probably gonna get like 40 views, and the people that see it probably like don't care enough. But just in case more people see it or something, please don't like send him hate or anything if you like find him on social media. Like I'm not trying to get back at him by doing this. I'm just trying to take a situation that was kind of shitty for me and at least make like something that can entertain other people and like get some content out of it. He did like obviously cheat on me, as I will get into later, but like that doesn't, he's still a human. Like he's still, like, people make mistakes, and if he sees this, I just hope that he like learns from it and like doesn't do this to someone else. Also, this is gonna be a long video. I'm sorry. Grab some popcorn, sit down, get comfy. Before I get into the whole thing about him cheating, I would like to acknowledge that like he was not a horrible boyfriend. Sure, like before this happened, like there were mistakes that both of us made, and probably during the relationship I made more mistakes. And like I'm sorry about that. Like if he's watching, I'm sorry like if what I did during the relationship hurt you. It would have ended whether or not he had cheated. Basically, I had like realized that like while I did love him, I was not in love with him. But the reason I hadn't broken up with him yet was because, well, partially because it was selfish and I did not want to be alone. I was scared of being alone, which now I'm like so glad that I'm alone. But also I like partially thought maybe like it was just a lull in the relationship and things would get better if I just like waited it out, gave it like time. And also I was worried that he would not react well to a breakup, and I like didn't know how to do it, and so I just didn't do it. But yeah, I do acknowledge that like I should have broken up with him like when I realized that I wasn't in love with him. Like, I shouldn't have waited so long. And so that's on me. That was one of the things that I did wrong. And like in that, I also like, when I realized that, like started treating him like not as well as I should have. And so again, I'm sorry if he's watching this. I'm sorry that I did that. Like that was wrong and definitely not something I'm proud of. Also, in terms of like acknowledging things that he did for me, like I probably would not be making videos at least like this if it wasn't for him. So if you're watching, thank you for that. Like he encouraged me to do that. For the purpose of this story, I'm going to change his name. We're gonna call him Sam. Okay, so in this story, I'm going to share as few like personal details about him and about our relationship, like private things, as possible. Especially like things that happened before the whole cheating thing. Cause like those happened like while we trusted each other, and like I don't want to break like that like trust, because like, and I want to show him like the respect that I would hope he would show me if he were to do something like this. The only things I'm going to say about like the actual relationship up until the cheating are like going to be as like vague and I don't know, like brief as I can make them, and just like things that I feel like are necessary to provide context. Okay, so I'm like hesitant to make this video because, and like thought a lot about what I want to say in it and what I don't want to say in it, because like I didn't want to hurt him, like, and I'm not gonna try to hurt him with this video, like that's not the purpose of this, but like he cheated on me, and granted I may have deserved it to some extent, but like I really don't think like I did anything that really warranted full-on cheating and the extent of it. But like part of why I didn't break up with him was because I didn't want to hurt him, and like I didn't want to like know if I should make this video because I didn't want to hurt him. But like at the end of the day, he cheated on me, which hurt me, and whether he was trying to hurt me or not, like it did hurt me. And so why am I like trying so hard to protect someone who didn't care about my feelings enough to try to not hurt me? So yeah, not that I need to reason this out, but that's my reasoning. Okay, so a little bit of background. So this was my longest relationship and most serious relationship I have ever been in. So we met on Bumble, which will come in later. And it got pretty serious pretty fast. And we both like thought that we were like the people we were gonna marry. So then at a certain point, more than halfway through the relationship though, I realized that I did love him, but I wasn't in love with him, and like didn't really want to like end up with him. But like, as I think I've mentioned this already, I like, part of me was like, maybe this is just a lull in the relationship, maybe like my feelings will change if I just like wait it out. And so I was waiting it out, and then he went on what was supposed to be a 2-week business trip, and we are not going to say the country that he went to preserve privacy. So instead of saying the country, we're going to say that he went to Mars. So Sam went to Mars for what was supposed to be 2 weeks. That's like mainly the background. While he was on Mars, he was supposed to be there for 2 weeks. Then that kept getting extended, and then he texts me and is like, I might be moving here for 6 months. And I'm like, shit, that's a lot of time. And like, it was hard because Mars doesn't have the best cell reception, and it was a kind of big time difference. And so like we were barely talking while he was there, pretty much only through Snapchat. And like, as I said, like I was like not really wanting to be in the relationship anymore. And so when he said that he might be on Mars for 6 months, I was like, I don't want to do long distance for 6 months. And I've done long distance before and it sucks, and like I don't think I'm a good person for long distance. Definitely not in this situation. And like it wasn't determined yet if he was actually going to be there for 6 months. And so I was like, okay, if you're there, maybe we should take a break. But we hadn't like said, okay, we are taking a break. And so at this point, remember, I still loved him and still cared about him. And so like, yeah, I deep down like wanted to break up. But also in this moment, I was like, shit, like I don't want to lose him. Like maybe I don't actually want to break up. We hadn't even like discussed what like a break would mean. And like, you know, like would we be allowed to see other people and stuff, which I was not okay with happening. But I hadn't had like a chance to be like, yeah, I'm not okay with you dating other people if we are on a break. Ever since he had said that he was like possibly staying there for 6 months, like things were like really weird between us. We were like texting even less, I feel like, and I don't know, I was like super anxious about the whole thing. Like I was like so anxious that it was like hard for me to eat because like my stomach was like just so tight like all the time that like when I would start eating, I would just like feel like I was gonna throw up or something. A few days later, he tells me that he is like going to a club on Mars with like his coworker, and I start freaking out because, okay, before he had left, he'd been telling me that like, I think it was like one of his friends or something had said that like there's a lot of hot girls like on Mars. And I had been like so secure in the relationship before that like I like never thought that he would cheat. And so like when he said that, like, oh yeah, apparently there's like a lot of hot girls on Mars, like I didn't really think anything of it. But then when he's like gonna stay there and I'm feeling like we're breaking up and freaking out about that, and then he goes like, yeah, I'm gonna go to a club, I was like all freaked out that he would like cheat on me, which like this actually is not where the cheating happens, that I know of. And so I texted him and I go, please don't cheat on me. And I felt like the most pathetic I have ever felt. I was like, seriously, who like begs their boyfriend not to cheat on them? Like that's probably wouldn't even change anything anyways. But I said it. It made me feel like I was in the office when Michael finds out that Jan is pregnant. He was like, you cheated on me when I specifically asked you not to. That's how I felt when he did cheat on me, and I was like, seriously, like I asked you not to. So yeah. And then I think it was the next day, but I don't know exactly. I think at that point we might have known that he was like definitely staying on Mars, or he was like almost definitely. And so I was like, hey, like, can we talk? He was like, yeah, we'll talk, but I'm like super busy, and because I'm working, like, I don't know, he kept like saying that we would talk, but then like we wouldn't, and I would like wait around for like hours, like being all anxious, thinking we were gonna talk, and then he was like, yeah, sorry, like I don't have time, I'm too busy with work. And he was like, yeah, like I've been so busy with work, like I haven't had time to think about it at all. Also, he was supposed to, like, even if he was gonna stay there for 6 months, he told me that he would be like coming back here like before, at some point like in the not too distant future, like in a month or something from then. I think like to get more stuff from like his place. And so I thought that we would like have a chance to talk in person about like the situation. And so when he said that he hadn't like had a chance to really think about what he wanted to do, I was like, okay, well, like let's not make a decision about like whether we're gonna break up or not right now, but we should still like talk, but like let's make the decision of what we want to do, like our final decision, when we can talk in person. And he was like, okay. And so we finally talk. And so like in this call, my intentions had been to like talk about like what had been going on with us, and then also say like, okay, like our terms for the break. And I was gonna say like, I'm not okay with us seeing other people. Well, before I get to say that, he tells me that he has been talking to someone on Mars, a girl. My heart just like sank. Like that was so not something that I had even like at all expected to hear. I don't like even fully remember everything about it because I was just like so in shock. We weren't even fully on a break at that point because we had been like, yeah, maybe we should take a break, but we had not discussed what a break meant. And so like he just like went off and started talking to someone else, and I'm like, okay, like how did you meet this girl? And he goes, on Bumble, the same app that we fucking met on. And he was like, yeah, like we're just talking as friends. And so also he had said that like part of why he went on there was because he didn't feel like he was emotionally getting what he needed out of the relationship, which like was true. I was not like fully emotionally invested because, as I said, like I kind of wanted to break up, and that was not right of me, I will admit. But like, you don't need that emotional like connection all the time. Like he said that he was just talking to this girl as a friend, but also his intent was to replace like the emotional connection that he was missing from me by talking to her. So in my mind, that is emotional cheating. And I didn't like process that by the time while we were talking. And so basically like our conclusion while we were talking was that like he was still supposed to like come back here at some point to like get more of his stuff. And we were going to talk in person. And I said like that if you like do anything more than just like talking as friends with like, then there's like no chance for us. Which like really deep down I knew like we were going to break up anyways, but in my mind we were gonna see each other in a month, and I was like, really, like you can wait a month to like start dating this girl. The thing that really hurt me was that like he had told me like a couple days before that like he hadn't had time, he was so busy with work that he hadn't had time to like think about us and what he wanted from the relationship. But he clearly had enough time to like go on Bumble and find this girl and start talking to her. So like that just like made me feel like he like valued her more than me, which like at this point he probably does. But like back then it was like you can't even take like the time to think about what you want from like our relationship and like whether you want to break up or not because you'd rather like talk to this girl. So like that just hurt me. Also I can't remember if I told like the time range of this, but this happened like, so we actually broke up like 2 months ago, and this whole thing started like 3 months ago. Okay, also what I was gonna say is that when we were talking on the phone, he was like, yeah, like even if we do break up, like I want us to still be friends, which like maybe that's just something that guys say because I'm pretty sure I've had that said to me before and then we like never were friends again. And ironically, the only ex that I'm friends with, we did not say that when we broke up. But he was like, yeah, like I want us to like stay friends or like be friends even if we break up, but like, which we're not friends and we are not going to be friends. But yeah, you don't do this to someone that you want to be friends with. After the phone call and I knew that he was on Bumble, I thought about the whole situation a lot, and I was like, okay, we're gonna break up, like he's probably cheating anyways, like it's probably, even if like he really is just friends with this girl right now, it's probably not gonna stay that way. And so I'd like come to terms with like we're gonna break up and like that he was probably cheating. But like it's one thing to think that, it's another thing to like see it with your own two eyes and to like know it for a fact. So one morning I wake up like a couple weeks later, I don't know, maybe a month later, and someone has liked one of my Instagram photos. And so I had archived like most of my pictures with him at this point, just because like I didn't really like want to look at that and didn't really want that on my page, but I don't think I had like done that to all of them. So I wake up and I see that someone has liked one of my photos, and I was like, that's weird, I haven't like posted recently. It was like a username that I didn't recognize, and so I opened like to see which photo it was, and it was one of the only ones that I still had up of him, and I'm like, that's a weird coincidence that someone would like that. And so I click on the profile of the person who liked it, and it was a girl who had the language that they speak on Mars, or at least what it appeared to be was the language that they speak on Mars in her bio. And I'm like, that's a big coincidence. Then I look at her pictures and I see that there are like geotagged cities, or like the city that is like geotagged in the recent pictures is the city that I'm pretty sure he's staying in. And I'm like, that's even a bigger coincidence. And then I see a picture of the girl and Sam, and there's a picture of them like together holding she's like holding a big bouquet of roses, the same type of rose that he used to get me. And there's a picture of them kissing, and there's a picture of what appears to be, get this, an engagement ring. There was not like a picture of it on her hand, so like I don't have 100% proof that they are engaged. But I'm pretty sure Sam got engaged while still dating me to someone else. And these pictures were posted like a few days before I saw them. So I see these, screenshot them. I'm not going to show them on here because I'm not trying to expose the girl. Also, I don't have anything against this girl. I don't know what she knew about me. Like, none of this is her fault. She had no responsibility to me, like to not hurt me. So I don't blame her for any of this, in case, I doubt she would see this, but if she did see this, like, I don't hold anything against her. And also it did feel weird to know that she had been like looking at my Instagram, but like, to be fair, like if I was her, and I would probably do the same thing. So I wanted to send him these screenshots and be like, seriously, like you're full on cheating on me, like you're engaged to someone else while we're still dating, like what the fuck, like we're over and stuff. But again, I still had things that I needed to get back from his place. That was my top priority. Like, it would have been satisfying to like tell him how I felt, but like in the end, my stuff was more important than that satisfaction. So I didn't say anything at first when I saw it. I just like gave myself time to process everything. And then I wrote up a text in the most mature way that I could come up with for someone who had just like found out that their boyfriend, who like, granted, I had already assumed he was cheating and I already wanted to break up, so it wasn't like the end of the world, but I still did care about him. And at that point, I don't know exactly, I think I still loved him. I don't love him anymore. And yeah, but like, it sucks to find out that your boyfriend is cheating on you. And so I text him something along the lines of being like, hey, like, I don't know if or when you're ever like coming back here, but I want to get my stuff back. Like, can I like get it like through your parents? And so he responds and he's like, basically says like, yeah, like I'll talk to them. And then he goes, as for us, I highly recommend we break up. And I was like, okay, first of all, who the fuck says I highly recommend we break up as a way to break up with someone? Like, how does that come out of someone's mouth? That is just like such a unnatural statement, I feel like. And so in response to that, I send one of the screenshots and I'm like, I think it's pretty clear that we're over. He does not acknowledge that at all. And I mean, granted, I don't know what he could have said that would have like made me satisfied with his response. But he just like didn't say anything, and then he was like, I'll talk to my parents. And I was like, okay, can you like let me know when you talk to them, and also like give me their contact info so that like I can contact them, or like my mom can contact them, because my mom was gonna like help me get my stuff. And he was like, okay. And like it was also like kind of a time sensitive thing, because just like the logistics, like I needed to like know soon, or like at least have contact with them soon, because of some like personal logistical things. And so like a week goes by and I didn't hear anything. So he and I went to the same high school, but like different years. My mom like knew people who like would have access to like the contact info of like past parents. And so she contacted one of them and was like, hey, like, can we get like the contact info for like this guy's parents? And I think she might have had to contact a few people to get it. I don't know exactly, but it was like not an easy process. And then we like were trying to figure out like if we couldn't do that, like what else we could do to like get in contact with his parents. And so finally, like, we get a phone number, my mom talks to his dad, and they like figure out a plan. I had already like texted him being like, hey, did you talk to your parents about me getting my stuff back? And then since my mom was able to do that, I was sent him another text since he hadn't responded. And I was like, never mind, my mom has talked to your dad. And so he asked like if I got it sorted out, and I was like, yes, no thanks to you. And he was like, why the hostility? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe because I asked you to do this like a week ago, you didn't, and so I had to get my mom had to like talk to like a bunch of people to try to find a phone number for, or like contact info for your parents. Yeah, I'm a little pissed. So yeah, that was like our last time talking. Like, I just think it's fucking insane like how this all happened. Your boyfriend leaves to like go on a business trip, and then you never see him again, and he starts dating someone else before you break up, and he gets engaged to someone else before you break up. Like, what? Also, like, I don't think cheating is like ever really okay, but it wouldn't have been so bad. I probably wouldn't even have made like a video if like, let's say he had cheated on me at that club, and so he'd like gone to the club and ended up kissing someone, or even like when he started talking to this girl on Bumble, if he was like maybe he went into it being like, I just want like someone to talk to, I'm like want a friend, and then he was like, wait, like I'm actually into this girl, like I want something more. If he had then like told me, whether or not he like told me that he cheated, because I don't know if I would have wanted to know that, but like if it's like, hey, like I just think that we should break up, like I don't want to be in this relationship anymore, before like everything else happened, then I wouldn't like, it would have been less bad. There's a big difference between like having a one night like cheating thing versus a like starting a whole relationship with someone. I don't know, it just made me feel so like such a lack of respect that he had for me. It made me feel like I was being like held as like a backup in case like things didn't work out with like him and this new girl. So like, I mean, as you can probably tell from how I'm talking about all of this, I'm like pretty much over the whole thing. It's not like I'm sitting here being like, oh, I'm so like sad that we broke up, like I wish I was still with him. Like, no, I'm glad that I'm not with him anymore. And like, I don't really care, like I'm not trying to break up like him and his girlfriend, fiance, wife, I don't fucking know. But like, it does still suck. Like, just cause like the whole time we were dating, like for some reason, cheating was just something I never thought he would do. Like, I was looking back on like pictures and like other things from like while we were dating, and like especially like while things were like really good the other day, and like, I mean, I like actually was crying for like the first time in months about this situation, like seeing that, because like we were like so happy together, and like I just like don't even recognize him anymore. And it's just like someone that you like knew or like thought you knew that well, like to know that they would do something like that to you. I never thought he would cheat at all. So then I'm like, did he cheat at like a different point in the relationship? It makes me scared for like future relationships. I'm worried that like I will be like paranoid that they're gonna cheat, like future people I date are gonna cheat on me. And it sucks to feel this way. It's not like there was some misunderstanding in this. Like, he knew we were together, because when I texted him after I found out that like he was cheating, and I was like, hey, I want my stuff back, he was like, I highly recommend we break up. So he knew we were not broken up. Although I will say, when he said, I highly recommend we break up, I literally laughed out loud when I read that, because I was like, seriously? Like, bitch, you're engaged. Have the guts to say, I want to break up with you. Like, what if I said, no, I don't accept that recommendation? Like, would you just keep dating me if like, while still being engaged to this other girl? And I don't know, maybe I deserved it, but I really don't think I did. My therapist doesn't think I did. Anyways, once again, please don't send him hate. I think like the lack of emotion I'm showing, like I've been trying to like pull up the emotions, but I think I've just like, I can't anymore. And I just hope this was entertaining. So like, please don't send him hate. I am a very non-confrontational person, and I don't want you to send him hate and then me to have to deal with any confrontation. So please don't put me through that. And yeah, let's just call this my valid way to react to being cheated on. Yeah, I could have done a lot worse things. I could have said a lot more in this video that I wanted to, but it's not right for me to do that. I will respect that privacy. Not that I really have respect for him at this point, but it's the respect that I would hope that he would have for me if he were to do something like this. Sam, if you're watching this, I hope that you have learned from this, and yeah, don't do this to anyone else. Okay, if my voice sounds weird, it's because I just woke up, but I wanted to film this thought before I forgot it. Also, my hair is washed. I'm gonna style it later and show you what it looks like. Am I fully over him yet? I don't know. Like, there's times when I think I am, and I think for the most part I am. And like, overall, yeah, I'm glad that we're broken up. I mean, okay, I don't want to be in a relationship at all right now, so for the most part, like, it's not that like, oh, I'm alone and he's with someone, but like, to have the person that like you loved and like you thought that you were gonna like end up with just like move on so fast, it's hard to see that. And especially since like I literally saw a picture of them kissing. Like, that's not something you want to see. When I first was feeling sad about like losing him before I knew he was cheating. I felt like guilty about that because I was like, how can I be sad about this? Like, I'm the one who has been thinking about breaking up for a while. Like, I shouldn't be allowed to be sad. And so I was like feeling guilty about being sad while I was like sitting in my room alone crying. And like, I couldn't even hug my mom because I was like, had just come home from school for like the holidays and I had to quarantine my room and wear a mask like in my house so that like until I got my COVID results back so that I wouldn't like infect my family. And so I was like dealing with all this and like crying, and my mom was like standing like several feet away from me, like looking at me and like couldn't even comfort me. Oh my god, I did not think I was gonna cry in this. Like, what the fuck? I thought I was done crying about this. Okay, we're not crying, not crying, not crying. Okay. And then when I found out that he was cheating, I felt a little less guilty about being sad. So that was a silver lining of it. And I'm using it as a learning experience to treat like the person that I'm with better. Much like I know that I can be like a good girlfriend, and I think part of it was just that like I didn't want to be with him enough to want to be that, but like that wasn't right. Like, if I didn't want to treat him well, I should have broken up with him, or I should have just treated him better. Okay, so this is the hair. I love it. I think it turned out great. It's not like 100% even. Like, some pieces are still more blonde, and I think that's because my hair like didn't start out all one color. I have some highlights in there, and so I'm guessing like the parts that were a lighter like pick it up better, but also like since they were bleached, they'd be more porous and pick the color up more. But I think that looks kind of cool and gives it more dimension. I don't know if you can see. I'll like turn around after I'm done talking and show you like a 360. So yeah, I feel like I look like a whole different person and I kind of like it. Subscribe!